It is the second week of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. During a visit to VOA, Imam Horsed Noah, Executive Director of the Abubakar Assidiq Islamic Center in Columbus, Ohio, and Outreach Director of the Somali Islamic Center in Ohio, spoke with Africa 54 Managing Editor Vincent Makori about fasting in America and security concerns among Muslims during Ramadan.
This Ramadan comes at a time when the Islamophobia is not only a $1 million industry with powerful institutions and powerful, very influential figures, but also it's much worse than the aftermath of September 11. So because of that, you have about 56% of the people in this country who believe that Muslims are against their values and how they live. Now, with that comes an increased level of attack of the places of worship. And it's really very dangerous, some of the rhetoric that's out there these days. To give you a couple of examples, recently we have heard, and I have seen also personally, a new group called, Squad Surveillance that are talking about how to attack the Muslims and their places of worship. We have BRAE, Bureau of Islamic American Relations. We have Act Now Patriots. These are really armed individuals who want to harm the Muslim community, who want to harm the mosques. So this Ramadan comes in that context.
Now, within the short time or in the last few weeks, has there been any specific threat to a mosque or to a Muslim community here in the United States, in your neighborhood, Columbus, Ohio?
We haven't had any real threat in our neighborhood, but we know that mosques that have received a message of threat, mosques that there were vandalism, we have seen harassment outside of the mosques, but in our neighborhood we're very grateful to say that the law enforcement have been really very active protecting our community.
Now, talking about law enforcement, what kind of collaboration have you had with the law enforcement and other agencies to ensure that this month can pass peacefully and that there won't be any actual attack on any Muslim, regardless of the threats that may be out there?
Good. Well, right after the tragedy of New Zealand, we have contacted them. We've told them that this is the first time that someone who's loaded and broadcasting live while he's killing Muslims in the mosque. We have never seen this. So they came to our mosques and we invited them to our mosque. They did security assessment. From that day on, they started to do regular patrolling around the street, around the mosque. They always come there in the parking lots. And we have had a very close working relationship with our law enforcement. And they even gave us training how to identify a suspicious activity. They have talked to our security volunteers at the mosque also.
And some people will tell you that these threats are not just against Muslims. I mean, we've seen temple or churches being attacked in the United States. We've seen also Jewish places of worship being attacked.
Absolutely, synagogues, the African American churches, the Sikhs, the temples. We have had 2 weeks ago 5 family members from the Sikh community who were murdered. So again, what we see is not only the mosques, but an increased attack of the places of worship, regardless of if you're from the Jewish community or the African Americans or any church, any denomination. So this is something that a new strange phenomenon, unfortunately.
Talking about Ramadan, someone out there may want to know, how is it here in the United States as compared, say, to Somalia or to Kenya or those in other parts of Africa? How do you compare having to observe Ramadan here?
Well, back home, and I've recently came back from Horn of Africa, every few blocks you have the mosque, and you hear the caller of the adhan, you hear the Allahu Akbar, and from corner to corner, there is a sense of spirituality. There is not a lot of fear, the family coming together, breaking their fast together. But here we have, people working during the time of breaking the fast. You have people who are in a school or, whatever they are doing. So there is a lot of difference when it comes to the dynamics and the environment and even the spirituality. So I think every Muslim would really wish, at least in this holy month, to be a place where he can hear the Allahu Akbar and the Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, all of this. Yes.
Imam Horsed Noah is the Executive Director, Abubakar Assidiq Islamic Center in Columbus, Ohio, and Outreach Director of the Somali Islamic Center, Ohio, speaking with VOA's Vincent Makori.